Dylan, we're going to finish this right in time for you.
Before my bedtime? That's perfect.
No, the game's at 10, no?
It is at 10, but I'm exhausted. I'm just going to wake up and we're going to be in the finals. Like, I get it's on the West Coast, but even when it was on the East Coast, they put it at 10 o'clock. It was so stupid.
Yeah, do you think that they are looking... Do you think the market is actually bigger for the MLS in the West Coast?
For why they make an East Coast game? I think it's a lot. I bet you they do it for the West Coast in Mexico more.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I feel like every Mexican team would be an hour off, right?
Yeah.
Like an hour behind, so that might make sense too.
Yeah.
But it still sucks. I'm sure I'm going to watch it while I edit this thing, but...
I mean, we always play fun games against them, so...
Yeah. Well, what I hate is I was kind of hoping that it was almost like all the American teams got packed on one side of the bracket and all the Mexican teams kind of got packed on the other one. I kind of like when it's like that commingling, but we'll see in the final, I guess.
Yeah. I guess if we win, I'll say I'd rather have a Champions League final than a league final, which I'm sure, John, you would agree with. So...
The NAFTA Podcast.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
NAFTA Podcast back, episode 58, the Big 5-8, season 3, bringing that up. We're actually kind of eclipsing almost 140 some odd episodes altogether, which in my mind is crazy. I also think about it, each of these episodes is probably an hour, so we've been talking for a week, essentially, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense?
That's friendship.
No, that's wrong. That's so wrong. A week is so long. 24 hours? Oh,
Dude,
maybe not.
6 days. Like, just over 6 days.
Okay, all right, cool. There we go. Michael with the quick math. You got Michael, you got Dylan, you got two guys that look like they're dealing with the sickness. I know Michael is for sure. Dylan, I almost texted you and said, hey, make sure you don't overeat the cheesecake. I'm sorry about the Rangers.
I ate a lot of cheesecake last night. That was disgusting. I don't need to talk. It was a bad sports 4 days for me, unfortunately.
I was telling Alexis because we flipped the game on and I was like, oh man, we turned it on. It was 2-0 Devils already. And I was like, Dylan's not going to be happy. I kind of want to text him and be like, make sure you don't have a tummy ache for tomorrow.
I did. I ate too much. I had too much pizza. Nothing worked.
There is no better feeling, though, sometimes when you're out watching a game and it's just kind of over and you're like, I'm throwing everything to the wind. I'm going to eat 7 more wings, 10 more wings. I don't give a shit.
Bro, every Cavs game.
Yeah, sorry about knocking you out.
Yeah.
If we're doing sorries.
It's all right. I'm a Jimmy Butler fan now.
No, he's not playing, so.
He's not what?
No, he got injured first game.
Oh, motherfucker.
You didn't know that?
No.
Big NBA guy.
Real quick, while we're talking random sports, by the way, I actually have a legit question. So, it's a Premier League question, by the way. With, you know how, so the summer series that's coming and how we got tickets and everything?
Yeah.
It got me thinking because none of our teams are playing. And you ever watch the NFL in London and it's Giants Packers and the guy's wearing a Dolphins jersey?
Yep.
Like, are we all good? Are we gonna just go neutral, or are we all just gonna be wearing our respective jerseys and being those assholes? So someone in England's gonna be like, "Why is he wearing a Wolverhampton shirt to Chelsea?"
One, Dylan, great transition because Michael and I have been talking about this. I think if we can, this would be a great time to launch NAFTA merch, and we'll go in with some merch on. 2, it's not just the NFL games in London. The NHL in general is notorious for this. I can't tell you how many Penguins Islanders games I've gone to, and there's a Whalers jersey. There's like an Avalanche jersey. It's insane.
Whalers is fine because that's just cool and they don't exist anymore.
That is what I'll say. Like, I'll usually see Whalers or like Nordiques, and I'm like, all right, like you're a hockey fan. You like puck.
Yeah.
other than that, like I have seen like some people just wear random sweaters to the games.
So based
Mike,
off of
what's your
that,
take?
you're telling me we can't wear our jerseys then?
No, I think we can, but I think we should get some. Michael wanted to get some merch.
I'm fine with merch. I'm never gonna say no to merch.
Yeah, Michael.
Can our first NAFTA merch be just 7-0 scoreboard and give it to Nick to wear?
Yeah. Michael wanted me to make him a shirt that was literally just the clip. Like I screenshotted FOTMob of Richarlison goal, Richarlison yellow card, Jota goal, Klopp yellow card, like that section on it, and put
And
it
then
on a t-shirt.
full time 4-3.
Yeah, but I haven't been able to. I just haven't wanted to do it yet. Soon come, maybe.
Damn, you're getting a little ahead of yourself, man. We're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah, well, spoiler alert, my bad. But yeah, I think you could definitely. We're for sure gonna go to like Brighton, Villa, whichever one we're going to, and there's gonna be someone with a goddamn Southampton jersey on. Rest in peace to them, but there will be.
I have a Southampton training shirt and a Villa jersey, so I could wear either one.
Do it.
What's the opinion on wearing a Championship or League One jersey to a Premier League game? Then you're really not breaking the rules.
Massive
I
respect.
think that's. Yeah, I actually think the Southampton fan that we will find there, we will like the best for sure. And I think if you wear a League One Championship jersey, it's the same as what we were just talking about. Whalers, Nordiques, the original Winnipeg Jets jersey. That's totally good. Good in my book.
You've
I agree.
determined what I'm wearing to Philly.
Love it. Speaking of, also, we're going to Philly for the what was it being touted as, the Premier League weekend or Premier
It's
League
summer
series or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't let the teams that are almost relegated come. It's kind of bullshit.
That's what it should be called, the mid-table extravaganza.
Yep.
But I think we should do some man on the street for sure. Michael and I have been thinking about some questions to ask. He had a few good ones. I have not come up with a good one yet, but I think that's something we should definitely do. Get the cameras rolling. Be fun. Make a video out of it. I'm pumped for it, though. What's Nick going to do? Because United play that same weekend. That's like a Sophie's Choice if I've ever heard one.
He said he's going to try and get tickets. And then as I was like, that's cool. And then he was like, but I guess it wouldn't be fun because you'd all be in Philly. It wouldn't go with me. I was like, that's also true. So, like,
yeah,
I think he is still have too much FOMO and will want to come hang out with us. That I think he might ditch us Saturday and then drive down for Sunday.
I think, in my mind, I'd have to obviously ask Nick. But because we do this podcast now, he's probably more likely to go actually to Manchester to a game now, right? Do you think?
We're working on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's an easier endeavor than to be said, but especially when you're a public school teacher, I totally understand that. But
Yeah.
I almost said like it's a once in a lifetime for him, but I think we should figure something out, get some sponsorship once we take off, obviously.
Yeah.
It's only a
Maybe-
matter of time.
Yeah, the next pod's going to be the biggest, you know that.
Yeah. So that's the next one. This is the next one.
When we have merch in Philly, that's when we get our real footing.
I guess, yeah, I think so. I think that's a great idea. But so we'll lose Nick. With that said, we also have now 4 tickets that are on the market for anyone who wants to go for Saturday. Because I think Michael's not going to be able to make it either.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, he's the class president for his high school class, and their reunion is that day. And I just told him straight up, assassinate yourself. Get over it.
Yeah.
Don't go. I mean, I could. The problem is I'm organizing it, so like, I'm paying everything. I'm collecting all the money. I'm doing all that shit. So like,
Would you rather hang out with people that like you really don't want to talk to, or hang out with people that you don't know and don't want to talk to? Like, I feel like it'd be the second.
Dylan, I'd rather do anything but go to my class reunion.
Yeah, okay, that's what we're. All right, I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, I gotta figure out a effective way. Yeah,
I think you need to do a fake obituary.
Assassinate himself, bro.
I don't think so. I might just pass it off to somebody I don't like.
Look, Michael, CEOs, there's millions of them, and they run multi-million dollar companies from their bedroom every day. You can figure out how to get this thing done without going to it. I know that for a fact.
I'm working on it. I also got to take into consideration who our mother is.
Yeah. Well, how old are you now?
28.
All right, 10 years you should be doing this shit on yourself now.
Okay, yeah. Again, you know who our mother. You know who our mother
Yep.
is.
Wait,
so.
if you're 28, why are you doing a high school reunion?
10 years.
10 years.
Oh yeah, you graduated 18. Okay, never mind. Touche.
I graduated 13.
It's been a long day at work, all right?
Yeah.
Dude, if there's any math equations that pop up on this pod, Michael, you got to take them, man, because Dylan and I think are just out to pasture when it comes to numbers.
I've stared at so many spreadsheets this week. I'm out.
Speaking of numbers, let's jump into this weekend's matches. We're going to start with a big one. Palace 4, West Ham 3. Souček opened up the scoring for West Ham in the 9th. Jordan Ayew tied it up in the 15th. Zaha took the lead in the 20th. Jeffrey Schlupp 3-1 in the 30th. Antonio gets one back in the 35th for West Ham. We hit halftime. Eze got a pen in the 66th to go up 4-2. And then Aguerd ended up with the third goal for West Ham, go 4-3. Hodgson, big 3 points against David Moyes' battle of the AARP recipients. Brentford 2, Forest 1. Forest took a lead in this one right before half with the Danilo goal. And then Ivan Toney in the 82nd tied it up. And De Silva, 4 minutes to into stoppage time, gets all 3 points for Brentford. A game that I watched, and Brentford just totally took momentum back in the second half late there. Brighton 6, Wolves 0. Bournemouth 4, Leeds 1. There you go, Dylan. That was for you. Lerma in the 20th. Lerma again in the 24th goes 2-0 up for Bournemouth. Bamford got one back in the 32nd, and then 2 more goals go in. Dom Solanke, Whitaker brother favorite on FIFA, goes 3-1 for Bournemouth, and then Semenyo. Whoa, Jesus, Michael, you got the name on this one?
I think it's Semenyo.
Semenyo in the 90th, 4 goals for Bournemouth. They look pretty decent. Fulham 1, City 2. Holland with a pen in the 3rd minute to go up 1-0, and then Vinicius got one back in the 15th on, honestly, the second sickest goal of this game, but it was a pretty sick goal. And then the best goal, Alvarez in the 36th minute, 3 points for City. It was a tough fought game. We'll get into that a little bit. Man United 1, Villa 0. 39th minute goal for Fernandes is the lone one, gets Manchester United all 3 points. Villa battled that one out as well. I know that Villa fans were a little disappointed not to have a better showing. Newcastle 3, Southampton 1. Southampton had the lead in this all the way up till halftime. 41st minute goal by Stuart Armstrong gave them the lead. Callum Wilson in the 54th, and then Theo Walcott own goal, and then a Callum Wilson again in the 81st gave Newcastle a 3-1 win. Leicester 2, Everton 2. This game was an absolute mess. DCL in the 15th goes 1-0 up for Everton. Soyuncu in the 22nd ties it up. Vardy in the 33rd, 2-1 up for Leicester. And then Iwobi tied it up in the 54th minute. They share points in a game that I don't know who really was the winner in that one, to be totally honest. And then today's game, Arsenal 3, Chelsea 1. Odegaard in the 18th and 31st on 2 pretty nice goals. Xhaka with the assists on both of those. Gabby Jesus in the 34th goes 3-0 up for Arsenal. And then they put it into cruise control. Madueke got one back for Chelsea in the 65th. But just an absolute outclassing by Arsenal to Chelsea. We're going to talk Liverpool-Tottenham a little bit later. But boys, Michael, you tell us where we're going. You lead us off here. This weekend was full of goals. A lot of goals.
Yeah, shout out, like you had mentioned, to the AARP recipients. That was a great game. It seemed like I was babysitting all weekend, so I didn't get to watch much of anything. But that's why I'm sick. Also, taking care of 3 less than 10-year-olds. I'm basically just.
You're a germ.
Yes, I am myself a germ.
For sure.
Great game. Dylan, we won't talk about that. I think I was 1 week off with the Brighton prediction. I think they lost to United. They lost the week before, right? To whoever.
Yes. Also,
And
if you
then-
saw who their lineup was, it makes the 6-0 even worse. Like, if you see who's sitting on their bench, it makes it a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they finally just took it out, their frustrations out on you guys, unfortunately.
Can I ask a quick question? And this
Yeah.
is such a pretentious question, but I do want to know. Dylan, when it was 4-0, you just did something else, right?
I stopped at 3 because I saw what was coming. Like, I'm pretty sure I caught up on Succession while that was going on.
Yeah. That's a good call. Like, I think at work, I'm a big advocate for mental health days. There's some times when you're just watching certain teams. Obviously, I'm a Man City fan. This doesn't happen for me here, but I'll watch the Browns or I'll watch the Guardians or whomever, and it's just a mental health day at that point.
I mean, I think we all have talked about, and I think I got sent a few things, how Erling Haaland has scored more goals than the Wolves as a team. And there's a few other players in the league who have also scored more than the Wolves. Like, 2-0 might as well be 100-0. So the moment it got to 3, it was like the moment in Space Jam when Monstars are up like 1,000-2. Like,
But you don't have Jordan.
yeah, like nothing good. Well, we have Diego Costa, like that's something.
No, Bill Murray wasn't showing up. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, like we were screwed. And the worst part is I woke up to Palace dropping another 4 spot, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? The Wolves might have a chance because like Palace is scoring on everyone, and we just shut them down. Not so fast, my friends.
Dylan had a split second of why not us.
I may have. I also
yourself?
jinxed it. I did. I had a why not us, and I put money on the Wolves. That was opposite of
no.
all of my logic. And then it just, it was a good donation.
How old do you guys think Matoma is?
22.
Yeah, 24 is what I was going to guess.
Wow. 25. I thought he was younger. I thought he was like 21.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have to talk about that anymore. I just wanted to know. The one
sorry.
thing I did want to say is if any of you caught the highlights of the Brentford game, the free kick that Tony had was sick. And then that literally just popped the balloon of Forest. They were up 1-0. He gets that one in, and then all of a sudden it was just like, all right, like Brentford's going to score again. It was kind of an insane last 20 minutes of a game, or last 10 minutes of a game that I've ever seen.
It's the best thing that happened to me this weekend.
De Silva also, I think last year, he had a 90-plus minute winner, and I swear to God, I only ever see him like turn up when he scores a 90-plus minute winner. Makes no sense.
Dylan, you brought this up in the pregame in our pre-huddle. Bournemouth, what the hell?
I think I've said this joke before, and I don't care. Like, only because I was watching it last weekend. I'm quoting now another team movie. Bournemouth is hot. Like,
Yeah.
it's a team that I have very much been on the record saying they're going to go down. They're not that good. It's going to come up to them. And now they're even with Chelsea in the table. Like,
Yeah.
it's the Michael B. Jordan effect.
Well, I think their story is, very Rocky-esque.
I think it's the guarantee.
Yes, it is the guarantee by the owner that they weren't going to get relegated, but down in the dumps all season, they get it like in an influx of celebrity, and all of a sudden, they're sitting in 13th, and it's not wild for them to end up 11th. I don't think they're going to catch Fulham. I think top 10 is pretty set right now, but they could end up top of the table on that one, 11th place. Insane.
Yeah, the only team that we all across the board had getting relegated.
Yeah.
Not even Forest, not Fulham, whatever. Also,
Not Southampton.
No, I didn't have Southampton. I had them in 17th because I had to fit Everton in there. The one thing though, remember, Scott Parker said they weren't good enough after the 9-0 to Liverpool. Goes to Bruges, they sucked. He gets fired, and here's Bournemouth in what 13th?
Yeah. That's like if the ugly person you grew up with called you ugly. I think Scott Parker might have been, just fomenting his own shortcomings there.
Seems like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Fulham game. Fulham played tough. Michael's going to give me shit for this. He did in the chat. They played us really tough. I don't understand what's wild about that. It was a good game.
I actually saw some of this. I just didn't feel like answering when you guys were texting about it. I actually kind of agreed with John. Like, the stats don't show it, but, like, Fulham hung in there for, like, at least it looked better than what it was showing on paper.
Yes. Numbers lied in this case, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
Men lie, women lie. In this case, numbers also lie.
Numbers did lie. Yeah. But I think they're tough. I think they're a really good team. I think Marco Silva is a very good coach. And they didn't have enough talent, obviously. But I don't know, man. It was a tougher 3 points than we've had in a while. Put it that way.
All right.
Can I? Oh,
go ahead, Dylan.
Well, I was gonna say I would like to maybe have a quick moment of silence for Tim Ream, because one, that sucks, and two, I happened to be watching the NFL draft the day before, and our boy Shad Khan was doing the double thing where he had Tim Ream do the draft pick for the Jaguars, and he looked like he wanted nothing to do with being there. So it was a tough 48 hours for him, unfortunately.
Yeah. I totally agree. I saw that clip too.
John, I know you're biased for sure. Kenny Tete or Jack Grealish, who are we taking?
We're gonna go down the roster and just say that Tete couldn't have had it for one game and been like, or you mean fighting?
Fighting?
Oh, Jack Grealish kicks that dude's ass.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't fuck with Kenny Tete.
You wouldn't? Hey,
no.
I'll just historically, I don't think the Dutch are that tough.
Have you ever been to their national museum? They're pretty tough.
He's got 2 inches on him too.
But Grealish is like a Peaky Blinder. I'll take that.
I don't know.
I'd rather back that.
I also think all the weight is in his calves. He's not going to be able to kick in a fist fight.
He could kangaroo jack him though.
Who said this was a fist fight?
Because it's the only honorable thing.
No. Well, so we have an entire sport that is dishonorable, the MMA?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, good to know your opinion on.
I'm a classic boxing guy.
Yeah, Michael wants the ropes to be made of literal rope still, and like guys to square up like the Fighting Irish guy.
Throw up your dukes.
Yeah, as they say. It'd be a good fight. Tete, I don't know. Tete didn't look like he really was all about it. As the great Jalen Rose once said, it very much looked like a hold me back type scenario on both ends.
Yeah, because I think the person who like is the most out, like I'm gonna beat your ass, is usually the one who's like not compensating for anything at all.
Jack Grealish is really good at football. United and Villa 1-0. It's a pretty good win. I wish Nick was on. He could talk about it, but good win for United. They're rolling into the FA Cup final here coming up. They got to get some wins put together if they want to compete with us. I will say that out loud, and I will be confident about it. Newcastle comeback against Southampton. Newcastle's better than Southampton. They shouldn't have been in that position. That's all I'll say. You know.
Yeah. One, Villa did not show up for that game. 2, Southampton showed up, and then they just decided, like, we just want to be a championship team.
Well, I feel like Southampton was the classic, we're trying really hard, and we're still tied now. I don't want to try anymore. Like, I'm over it.
We can't get the win. We're only going to get a point. Like, fuck it.
No, I don't want to do it. And then Leicester-Everton, what do you say? Who is this better for? It had to have been better for Leicester.
Well,
right?
it's Leicester because of goal differential. The tie got them out of the bottom.
Yeah. So now they just have to match whoever else, basically, point-wise.
Well, now we get into the fun part. 4 games to go and 5 teams that could be going down.
Yeah, I think it is 16-20 is honestly it's not even that. It's 16-19 anymore.
Yeah, I was just gonna
there's
say.
four teams you got to talk about. Southampton's dead to rights. Everton in 19th on 29. Forest in 18th on 30. Leeds in 17th on 30, and Leicester 16th on 30. And then there's that 4-point delta with West Ham in 15th.
Do you want Nate Silver's take?
I was gonna say,
Well,
I feel
hold on
like
a
with
second.
4 games to go, are we gonna finally? I think we have to put the final predictions in, and like now is officially we're locking it in on who's going down.
Wait, hold on, real quick before we do that. Arsenal just beat the shit out of Chelsea. We don't have to talk about it anymore, but I wanted to get that out of the way because it was our last game that we still had up on the screen.
Wait, Chelsea they have Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, you guys, United, Newcastle.
I think 1 win or 2 ties.
I think they lose to Bournemouth.
I do too. That's what I'm saying.
At Bournemouth,
it's 1 win or 2 ties.
I think they'll get 3 points.
I think if you're Bournemouth, you are hyping them up, saying you can finish above Chelsea.
1,000%.
I just want to throw it out there. If we run back the tapes when we had this conversation, when Frank Lampard lost like 2 in a row, I'm pretty sure I said they're only getting 3 points the rest of the year.
Probably. I think we were all around.
You guys said
Nick
4
said
or 5. No, Nick got excited and said 5. He was weird about it.
I think for sure they were losing the 3 to the top 4.
I think you said 4, and I was like,
maybe,
you know what?
yeah.
I'll do Price's Right rules and take 3 and feel good about it.
Yeah, you and Dylan were the bottoms for sure, and then Nick was the top.
Always an optimist.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. So relegation. You guys are about to jump into it. Michael, you've had your set for a while, and you haven't wanted to move off it. You're like, I'm gonna do this. Remind the listeners what that is. Obviously,
Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Everton.
Dylan?
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Southampton. I don't know. Hank was sending me like halfway through the game, like big brain stuff of it's better to get relegated because your fans get to watch more games. Type of stuff was his latest
parachute payment Hank. I love it.
Literally his spin zone. Everton's burned me so many times that I can't even support them, and I'm trying to find. I saw a good post, but I can't find it. So I will go Everton, Southampton. I really want Leeds to stay up. I don't see how they do it. I think Nottingham Forest at home has shown that they can have some fight. And Leicester, recently, as much as they've sucked, at least is scoring goals, which can keep you up. Like, Leeds is just a disaster. I think Leeds is your third.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think mine goes, and yours obviously wasn't in any type of order, but mine's going to go Southampton, Everton, Leeds. And it sucks because Leeds has immense talent, I feel like. It's just defending. These dudes can't defend
at all
whatsoever, man.
They got Newcastle and you guys, the next two. It's you guys and then Newcastle, I think.
Who?
Yeah.
Leeds?
Yeah. Leeds has Man City, Newcastle, and then they play West Ham at West Ham.
So you have to hope you have to hope West Ham's checked out at that point.
Yeah, it's winnable, but they got the last day they got Spurs at home.
Winnable. That game could be the most fun soccer game I've ever watched in my life.
That shit could be crazy. Because, especially, like, think about how slow Spurs start. You get Leeds a goal or two in that first half, it's going to be real crazy. But I think Nate Silver agrees with you guys. He has Southampton, Everton, Leeds is the 3 most likely to go down. Southampton is 98%. Everton 62, Leeds 58, Forest 53, and then Leicester's 28, and then West Ham is 1. But
yeah,
let's just bring up Luton Town.
Yeah, oh dude, I want to. Have you been seeing any of the coverage on this?
Have you seen their stadium? It's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. You got to go through people's backyards to get in. Like it's actually not up to standard yet. I'm gonna be interested if they do get promoted. What is the Premier League gonna do? Like they'd honestly have to give them money to make renovations ASAP, or they'd have to go play
somewhere else
in the closest Premier League stadium.
But it kind of fucked if they couldn't play there.
Yeah, it's such an advantage. Like that's sick. That's why I love baseball. Everything's unique. Kiss of death for Everton is they already got a point off Man City this season, so they might lose by 7 in this one. I'm going out on a limb today, man. I'm gonna regret all of it.
I say, could you imagine if Everton beats you guys and that's the reason you end up fumbling the treble? You're not going to, though, so don't worry about it.
That would
But
suck. Yeah. Yeah, relegation. Nate Silver has never been wrong before in his life. We should take that to the bank.
Yep.
Anytime he has election coverage, you should follow it. It's usually spot on.
He gets everything right.
Yeah, love Nate Silver. Michael, let's dive into it. You got Liverpool 4, Tottenham 3. Curtis Jones in the 3rd minute, assist by TAA. Diaz in the 5th. Salah on a pen in the 15th. They go 3-0 up. Tottenham get one back with Kane in the 40th. 3-1 at halftime. Heung-min Son in the 77th. And then, right at the death, right at the end of the game, Richarlison gets a back post header past his Brazilian teammate for the tie. Runs off, takes his shirt off. You get to see his amazing Mount Rushmore of Brazil on his back. Only to have Diogo Jota literally 22 seconds after the restart later score a goal. 4-3 Liverpool. You've been taking in so much Tottenham tier comments. Tottenham tiers content is what I meant to say.
Mm-hmm.
That I just want to get your take. What was it like watching this? How'd it go?
So,
Crazy game.
As I had previously mentioned, I was babysitting. So I did not
You
get
didn't
to
watch
watch
any of this?
I did not get to watch
God.
a single minute of this game.
I can talk about it.
But I watched the whole second half, and I watched the extended highlights. So I pretty much watched like the entirety of the game.
You watched the important parts.
Yeah, I watched the whole second half, which was like honestly like the worst part of our game, obviously. Yeah. We looked incredible for 15 minutes, and then we just basically tried to hold on for the other 75 for whatever reason. I think whatever it is, if we can figure out that like defensive stability with the new kind of formation we're running, I think we'll be really fucking scary. Because what is it now? 4 or 5 games that Trent has played in that position. He has an assist in every game. Which is just, that's what he's going to do there. Nunez isn't even starting. I think he's probably going to be one of the guys. Like, Jota got all the shit for so long, and he's like 4 goals and 2 assists in the last like 3 or 4 games or something like that. Like he's
5 goals in 4 games.
Okay, yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So
good for him.
And 1 bloody forehead.
Yeah.
And 1 bloody forehead. I do love when I saw, because again, I'm like following on my phone. When I see 3-3 and then it pops up Richarlison, I actually thought about just quitting everything. Like,
but you were watching it at that point, right?
No, I wasn't watching that. I watched the second half over after everything had happened. And I'm I'm in the car. We're going to eat lunch with like the whole family and everything. And I'm in the car and I just go, fuck. And Morgan looks over and she sees it's 3-3 and she goes, oh man. And I go, yeah. And she goes, all right, I'll just give you a second. And then we get out of the car, we start walking there, and I go, 4-3. And she starts freaking out or whatever. But I mean, it's just the same shit this whole year. I can't really be that surprised. It was pretty unfortunate to like not get to watch real time, like an instant Premier League classic. Like,
yeah,
sucks, but
it's,
whatever.
It's funny to imagine you as like a Texas father, Friday Night Lights style, in the car, really disappointed, and like mom has to get the kids, and you got to hang back for a second and be depressed and like just be in your feelings, and it's like, what's wrong with dad? Like a Liverpool tied.
We had just seen like a guy's stand up bit too, the day before, where that was like, if you have somebody who loves watching like soccer, just during the game, that 2 hours, just leave him the fuck alone. Like, don't ask him to do shit. Don't talk to him. And I was like fully taking care of these kids, like driving them in the mode in my head though. Like, just don't bother me. Like, I need this 3-2 win.
It's what I was picturing was who was it? The dad in that in the movie version. Dylan, you'd probably be my best help on this. It was Tim McGraw, wasn't it?
I was close to just doing this and taking my ring and saying, Do you know what it's like to win one of these? You know what this feels like?
The thing we used to say in high school all the time is, broke my lamp. He broke my lamp. There's that whole scene where he like drops the ball, breaks the lamp, and then he like beats him with the broken lamp essentially.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Michael, like you're a abusive father at that point. I'll say this, Dylan, before you get to go. The one thing I'll take away from this is and I watched 80% of this game. These are two teams that aren't very good. Just aren't.
I'm glad you got into that because I was gonna dive into how much both defenses are atrocious.
They're bad. Both these teams are really bad, and it's crazy because there's an argument that I can agree with that Michael could make about the first half Liverpool team being tough and good and a problem. But you guys went into the halftime and basically got a lobotomy. I don't know what happened. You look like shit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you have to also understand, like, in that situation, the only way Tottenham score on us is on a counter, which they did. Like, except for the very last goal, which was, like, feathered over Alisson's head. The only way they score on us is a counter. And we're never gonna not attack.
And
like, we're never gonna leave ourselves. We're never gonna protect against a counter because we're always just gonna want to keep scoring. That's just how we play. We're never gonna sit there and be like we're gonna play defensively. So that's why those games are always so high scoring because we play completely into one another's strength. And our defense, and at this moment, defensively, we're both bad.
Yeah.
I know you didn't get to see that after the 15 minutes. You didn't see Michael. After the Harry Kane goal in the first half, there could have been another 2 Tottenham goals if it weren't for Alisson either on the exact same thing.
Yeah,
100%. He is far and away. Sorry, he's far and away our best player.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I know what it's like to have a goalie that has a piss poor defense in front of him, so I get it.
I was gonna say the same thing, Michael. I was like, I don't think there's any argument from your camp about who the player of the year is for Liverpool. All right, let's get to the actual meat and potatoes of this game. Is Jurgen Klopp a dickhead?
For sure.
I'm kind of over it now.
What do you mean?
I got kind of over him. I think he's just.
You don't think justice was served by him getting a pulled hamstring?
Nah. I have a lot less respect for him after this season.
Yeah. Okay.
I do.
Yeah, I love, dude. It's insane. We both have 2 of the most like eccentric, fucking like will react in insane ways coaches, and the fact that you as a City fan could sit there and go, I'm over his shit, but my guy is great is crazy.
Pep's never hurt himself on the sideline because he has to get in the referee's face.
Because that's why. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, okay. I was gonna.
He's never hurt himself, but he's definitely gotten in a ref's face.
Well, let's keep. You want me to keep going?
Go ahead.
I just think it's like. I think that there's been a lot more excuses this year out of your camp than there ever has been before.
Dude, again, if you, first of all, I said it in the chat. I'm fucking done with the refs. They're dog shit. I see Mo Salah get absolutely just harpooned every fucking game. Never gets anything called. It's ridiculous. I'm sick of it. I would be fucking pissed too if people fouled him consistently and as egregiously as they do and it never gets called and it's consistently the same fucking ref every time. I would be pissed too. And,
I agree. And Jota shouldn't have been in the game to score the game-winning goal either. So I agree. The refs stink.
And also, what was the one game where the refs high boot for Haaland? It was perfectly fine, but that one, foot can't be that high. It's inconsistent. It's all inconsistent.
Yeah. I mean, do you think he should have got a red?
Did Haaland get a red?
I'm asking you about this scenario.
Correct. And I'm saying that the precedent this year, I'm saying the precedent this year was that is not a red card because it wasn't. And that exact same guy explaining the same scenario. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's a red card.
He should have gotten a double minor.
Yeah.
There was blood.
I also, no bullshit, I don't know exactly what the rules are. But
I don't think the refs do on that one. I'm going to be on your side on this. I think that's one play that happens so often, almost every game, that happens, and it's just not consistently called. Ever.
Again, it's like, so say both your feet go after the ball, right? The one guy hits the ball, the other guy hits the other guy's foot. That's a foul on that guy. Mm-hmm. The guy who hit the other guy's foot, right? Mm-hmm. In that scenario, Jota hits the ball first. Mm-hmm. And then the guy goes in with his fucking head. Skip goes in with his head and hits the bottom of his foot.
I know you're right. I just want to poke the bear.
I'm saying that I just don't think anybody had, like, I think if you're going in with your head like that in the same way that the guy in the Holland situation did, I think it's fair game at that point. Yeah. Like, you are trying to head the ball. You're making an effort.
So what, because I was talking to my Liverpool friend Ian, his name's popped up many times on this pod this season for some reason, but he showed me the picture. And my take on this, it's never called correctly, and it's never explained, and it happens every game. That's the first thing. The second thing is both players are at fault for what my mind is going to take into this is like, all right, Jota's foot was at his own shoulder. Like, that's pretty high. Like, it was a very, very high boot. Michael, to your point, touches the ball first. Totally agree. If he has a boot that high and the guy's really not trying to go in with his head, then I think, sure, you have grounds to do VAR to see if this is a red card. Totally get it. On the other hand, if the defender or whomever is going in with their head and that head dips below like your chest and goes to your waist level, my God, what are you supposed to do? Like, I don't understand. Like, I think if you do that and you make contact with the player and not the ball, I think it should be kind of a foul on you for just being an idiot. Like, I don't get it.
And again, because I think you have to, there's all different ways you can talk about this. You have to think about Jota's foot in relation to everybody else, not himself. Because if he jumps in the air like Holland does when he, kicks a ball into the goal and everyone loses their fucking mind about it, well, his foot's all the way up here on somebody else. So is that a dangerous play? Yeah. I mean, in any case, you could sit here and talk about it. The problem is, it's not my fucking job to know the goddamn rules. It's their job. True. And they do the refs this year, again, we talk about handballs, we talk about penalties, fouls here and there. They've been terrible. And again, I'm a Liverpool fan. It's going to 100% of the time that I talk about these things to the 18 people that listen, it is going to come across as though I'm biased. I probably am. But at the same time, you cannot sit there and tell me that the refs are good. Like, every other league, the refs are better than the Premier League.
I think the other equation in this is intent, and I don't think Jota had no intent to, like, kick someone in the face. He actually played the ball.
It's called fucking football.
Anyway, Dylan, any last thoughts on Spurs being the most Spursy version of them or this Liverpool game at all?
I'm upset that the Wolves suck this year because all the big six stink. Like, it was ripe for the taking. That you guys hit everything else I was going to say, so I'm just going to say I'm upset that this is the year we decided to take off.
Bad year to be bad.
Bad year to be bad.
The only other thing, I think he's suspended the rest of the year.
Klopp?
Yeah. He's suspended the rest of the year. I don't think we get a points deduction. That's what was also the PGOMOL or whatever the fuck they're called. Their guy can elbow somebody in the fucking face, but we'll get a points deduction for that. It's just asinine. I'm so done with the refs. Like, I have no sympathy for them.
No Klopp. You guys have Fulham, Brentford, Leicester, Villa, and Southampton. So not the easiest run in either coming up.
I mean, it's pretty easy.
Brentford, Fulham, and Villa all pretty decent.
Is Brentford at home?
Brentford is at home. The only road games are going to be Leicester and Southampton, which are your two easiest ones.
Yeah, so we should. I mean, listen, we should beat Villa. I'm not saying it'll be easy. We should beat them. That's a game we should win. We should beat Brentford, considering like where they are in the table, et cetera, et cetera. And I've been saying if we don't finish fifth, that it's on us completely because it's been a great schedule to try to finish fifth.
Yeah, huge 3 points in that regard because now you're clear of Tottenham and a game in hand, which I don't think you would have been if that would have happened. You've been tied or even cleared, but on goal difference.
And last thing, because I was thinking about this too, We talk about Arsenal and how incredibly likable team with just some fans that are a couple years ahead of where they actually are in their minds. I would say. I know like 3 people. I don't know Nick's friend who's a Spurs fan, so I'm not going to count him in this. But I know like 3 people who are Spurs fans. Incredibly grounded, nice, wholesome people. It's the opposite. Like, I hate the Spurs players. I hate them. All of them. They all suck.
Yeah. So the
they're all
North
gonna
London
be,
Derby.
They're all going to be shipped off to new teams anyway next year.
Yeah.
Good.
Sure.
They can keep Richarlison. He's great. Every time he takes off his shirt, it's just fucking the worst possible thing that can happen.
I'm happy for him because he finally had a goal that counted when he took his shirt off. So at least he has that going. I'm also pretty sure he posted on Instagram him taking his shirt off with that goal with no context of what happened afterwards. So, like, legend.
Love that. Yeah, just totally, like, unaware of themselves legend is what he is.
Yes.
All right, that was the match week. A lot of goals, like I said, this match week. We got some midweek magic, 3 games that we got to do a little prediction on. But first, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that I haven't gotten to post the schedule past couple times, and you got to know where people are in the standings. So let's roll through it. Shout out to Nick. He's in last place. There's not really a chance he's going to hit 500. But the past 2 weeks, Nick has gone 14-6, which, if I'm looking at this correctly, is like 5% of his wins for the entire year of the last 2 weeks. So shout out to Nick. He went 8-2 this past week. He is 158 and 176. Dylan, 9-1 this week. Insane.
Teetering.
163 and 171. I think you actually might, if you put together something magical over the next 4 weeks, you could get 500.
I had a good 3 weeks in a row of going 500, just waiting for this week to happen to go off.
There you go. Michael 6-4, 173 and 161. And then I was 7-3, 179 and 155. The one thing that I do want to bring up, if people want to question if we know ball or not, we've predicted every Premier League game so far. We've predicted every FA Cup game. We've predicted every Carabao Cup game when the Premier League teams entered the tournament. We've predicted every Europa League game. We've predicted every Champions League game. We do not have one person under 500. Dylan is 249 and 241. Nick is 255 and 235. Michael and I numbers are going to be a little bit bigger because we do the Conference League. Michael is 283 and a half and 227. You got the half point because you got a score dead on. And I'm 284 and 226. So,
Listen,
Michael's chopping at the bit.
I want to say something because this is bullshit. Because, first of all, congratulations to us. Pat's all around on the back.
Yeah.
The first fucking time that we bring up this overall all-time wins, all-time losses table is the first week John is beating me in it. Other than that, I've been beating him the whole time. Never says a goddamn word about it. The first fucking time he brings it up is when he's beating me. That's bullshit.
Hey,
that is bullshit.
If you want editing power, you just let me know. I'll give you all the tools, baby.
You motherfucker.
I'll give you all the tools. But I just the main point is, fuck you guys. We know ball. All right?
Yeah, eat shit, losers.
We know ball. Yeah. Midweek games. Michael, quick turnaround. Liverpool's hosting Fulham. Should be a good match. 2-2 earlier in the year. Like I said, Fulham played City tough. I know it's at Anfield. Who you got in this one?
Us. Even though I think Jota's out. Somebody else is also like doubtful. I'm pretty sure, but I think we have enough to win this. And they don't have Ream. They don't have Pereira either. Andres Pereira's out for the rest of the year.
Yep.
And then obviously no Mitro. So I think we should win this game. Like
no Willian either, who actually had a silent helpful year for them.
Oh yeah, Willian has been great for them.
Dylan.
I'm taking Liverpool. The road to 500 starts now.
Yeah. Quick note on Fulham. Levin Kurzawa, 6 games played, 2 goals. Interesting stat line. Just brought him in from PSG. Michael, we did a pod once where I was like, I didn't realize he was even on the team. He
Yeah.
only got to play 6 games, but he got 2 goals. He's injured as well.
Just
So
a few days.
Liverpool across the board. City, same day, same time. They host West Ham. Tough matchup for sure. West Ham always plays us really tough. It is at the Etihad. City won 2-0 going away earlier this season.
Shut up.
Obviously am taking
Shut the
taking
fuck
City.
City's gonna win.
City.
Yeah, I got City. Dylan's got City, and then the rematch, the battle of the what's their like Brangelina name, Nick and Caroline.
Nairline or Kick.
Kick.
There could be
What's
Kick.
What's Caroline's last name? Not the doxer on a podcast that has a ton of listeners.
It's a color.
Okay, we got to come up with a good name for them. But it's their derby. Brighton's hosting
You
United.
can call him Neil.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I
Like
knew
it.
that. Fuck, dude, you know when something's like so far in the back of your brain that you knew it, but like Dylan said it, and I was like, oh, I know what it is now.
Yeah.
I remember.
Brighton hosting United. Rematch of the FA Cup. Michael came out guns blazing after that, saying Brighton deserved the win. This game is at the Amex. I'll let you lead it off, Michael.
Brighton.
Dylan.
Yeah, revenge of the goals. I just saw him firsthand. I can't not take him.
Yeah.
So true.
I'm gonna go United, just because I think they're gonna come
Coward.
into the FA Cup. They're gonna come into
Coward.
the FA Cup with some motivation. I think United thinks they're gonna win it, so I think they're gonna roll in that way.
I need this bad.
You gotta get some ground on me, Dylan. Any bets?
Oh, I don't care about that.
Am I
What?
betting?
I need United to just lose out so we can be fourth.
Oh.
Yeah. Good luck.
I just got one for the midweek games. We said it before. No offense, Michael. Your defense kind of sucked. So we're going to take both teams to score Fulham, Liverpool, -1.
No offense taken.
Nice and simple.
Actually, -115 is wild. For
Yeah.
how many people are injured for Fulham?
Yeah.
It should be, I feel like, much higher than that.
Well, I think they expect Liverpool to score. I think it's more...
Yeah, the Liverpool scoring outweighs. I
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. One bet. Midweek games. We'll be back. Probably recording Thursday night and pod Friday morning. Then, Dylan, get us out of here with a joke.
So because of how bad of a year Chelsea's having, have you seen that they're trying to sign a new T-shirt sponsor, kit sponsor?
Mm-mm.
They're looking to strike a deal with Microsoft,
Yeah.
hoping that they can excel. Cheers.
The NAFTA podcast.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.